1975, the film Jaws famously warned us, "You'll never go in the water again," and for many, that fear became reality. People were terrified of ferocious, man-eating great white sharks prowling the coasts of Massachusetts. But great whites aren't the only creatures to fear in the depths. From a fish built like a saw to something straight out of Count Dracula's tropical aquarium, here are 15 terrifying sea creatures that actually exist. Number 15. Lancet fish. The lancet fish is sometimes known as the handsaw fish, and you can see why if you take one look at that crazy dorsal fin. These fish are pretty rare and live out in the open ocean, so the chances of ever seeing one are slim. But a lancet fish washed up on the shore in North Carolina back in 2014, and this monster had people freaking out. Just to add to their creepiness, they usually operate only at night, and they're big, more than 6.5 feet long. They have enormous fangs, which they use to hunt their prey, which often includes other lancet fish. Yep, this is one of nature's rare cannibals, and they have no qualms about chowing down on their brothers, sisters, and cousins. Although understandably terrified of this night-stalking, fanged cannibal, the kind people of North Carolina decided to throw it back in the water where it belonged, only for it to wash up again. Is this just a really dumb fish? Or is this just the first stage of a lancet fish invasion of the Carolinas, bringing their cannibal ways with them? Only time will tell. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or you will have bad luck for an entire week. Number 14. Lamprey. And back to our old friend, the parasite. There's just something about parasites that's truly horrific. Some of our most terrifying monsters, like vampires, are basically parasites, and the lamprey is a terrifying addition to the parasite world. They are some of the most ancient things in the ocean, and in fact, they don't only live in the ocean but in pretty much any environment where there is water. There are lamprey species in saltwater and freshwater, in lakes and rivers, and both in the shallows and the deep sea. Nothing can stop them. They are even known to climb waterfalls as they head upstream to mate. These are true vampires, and they attack other fish by latching onto them before sucking their blood. This leaves a terrible oozing wound, which may never heal and leaves the victim prone to infection. So, eventually, hopefully these fish can survive on their own. They have even attacked swimming humans in the past, so this is one vampire parasite you really need to worry about. They have a horrifying mouth full of teeth, and this attaches to its victim by sucking. As you can see, it's pretty gross and looks like, I'll leave it to you to decide what it looks like. Once attached, they begin to work their forked tongue into the flesh like a drill, and that's when the blood-sucking can begin. Just for good measure, they also inject their victim with anticoagulants so that the blood thins and goes down nice, easy, and smooth. Only the poor fish or human has a hard time stopping the bleeding. 10 out of 10 for terror. Number 13. Pyara. The dog-toothed tetra doesn't sound so bad, right? But it has another name, one way more fitting for this sea nightmare, the vampire fish. They may not have a castle or a pack of wolves, but they have plenty of other things in common with vampires, including 6-inch-long teeth, which they have to sheath in their own mouths so that they can close their mouth at all. Huge hidden fangs. Tell me the vampire game is strong in this one. These terrifying teeth aren't just for show. They're perfectly adapted for gripping slippery prey in the fast-flowing rivers of the Amazon. The dog-toothed tetra is known for its incredible speed and precision when hunting, making it a true apex predator in its habitat. Researchers have found that its hunting style involves ambush techniques, using the murky waters to its advantage. When threatened, it can leap out of the water with alarming force, adding to its already fearsome reputation. Despite its aggressive nature, the vampire fish is also a delicacy for some local communities, who respect its power but are not deterred from cooking it up for dinner. Its sleek, muscular body is a perfect example of evolutionary design, crafted to dominate one of the most dangerous ecosystems on Earth. Although no dog-toothed tetra has ever been recorded as owning a mirror or even seen eating garlic, what more evidence do you need that these truly are the children of the devil? They could pass for a salmon in appearance, at least until they open their mouths. They live in the Amazon basin, along with a whole bunch of other terrifying river monsters like piranhas and tigerfish, who are actually relatives of the vampire fish. They are apex predators and will take on fish more than half their own size. One bite from those fangs is usually enough to take down whatever piece of prey they have their eyes on, whether that be some other random fish or young British schoolteachers named Mina. Number 12. Giant isopod. It's a real-life Pokemon. The giant isopod is the world's biggest isopod, which is a sea creature relative of the common woodlouse. Unlike the woodlice, these isopods can grow to huge sizes, with reports of individuals reaching as much as 33 inches in length. With reflective silvery eyes, these look like evil aliens from some faraway planet. These eyes are specially adapted to detect faint light in the deep sea, making them excellent at navigating their pitch-black environment. Their tough exoskeleton provides protection from predators, while their ability to roll into a ball, a behavior shared with their woodlouse cousins, offers an extra layer of defense. Despite their menacing appearance, they are incredibly slow-moving, relying on patience to scavenge or ambush prey. The isopod's body is divided into overlapping segments, allowing it to glide smoothly across the ocean floor, searching for its next meal. They can survive for long periods without eating, entering a state of dormancy to conserve energy when food is scarce. Their remarkable resilience and adaptations make them a perfect example of how life thrives in even the harshest conditions. They are scavengers and feed on the dead carcasses of whales, fish, and squid, which sink to the bottom. But they also hunt and will take down sea cucumbers, sponges, nematodes, and other slow-moving things that live in the deepest parts of the ocean. Back when they were first discovered by French zoologists in the 1870s, it was an exciting discovery since, until that time, it was widely believed that the deep ocean was entirely lifeless. These creatures are notorious among fishermen, as when they are accidentally brought up in trawler nets, they are known for going full Cthulhu and attacking and destroying all the other things in the net in a bloodthirsty rage. So, yup, pretty terrifying. Number 11. Viperfish. The viperfish is one seriously weird-looking fish. This thing has some serious prehistoric looks about it. They live in the deep sea, and like our friend from earlier, the vampire fish, the viperfish is well known for its huge fangs, which have given it the reputation as one of the most fearsome predators of the ocean. Wow, this fish has such big fangs they do not even fit in its mouth, instead curving back past its eyes. Its teeth are so large and sharp that they can puncture prey instantly, ensuring that escape is nearly impossible. The viperfish's bioluminescent lure is not just for attracting prey. It's also thought to be a tool for communication with others of its species in the pitch-black waters. Their diet mainly consists of smaller fish and squid, which they capture in swift, ambush-style attacks. Despite their terrifying appearance, viperfish have slow metabolisms, allowing them to go long periods without food. They are also incredibly resilient, with the ability to survive in extreme pressure and near-freezing temperatures found in their deep-sea habitats. Scientists continue to study their unusual anatomy and hunting tactics to better understand life in the deepest parts of the ocean. They swim fast and use the huge teeth to impale their prey like some kind of medieval executioner. They hit their prey so hard they have evolved a special vertebra, which functions as a shock absorber. On their back is a long spine which has a little light attached to it used to attract prey as a kind of lure, which is actually pretty cool. It's not the biggest animal, measuring around 12 inches, so it is sometimes prey to sharks and dolphins with a taste for weird-looking food. They head up closer to the surface during the night but spend the day 5,000 feet below the surface in the murky depths. Number 10. Sarcastic fringehead. The sarcastic fringehead, this sounds a lot like something you might have caught on MTV back in the early 1990s, but it is, in fact, a kind of fish. And it's a kind of terrifying fish, one which looks a little like the dinosaur that jumped up and spat some sort of venomous fluid in the face of Dennis Nedry in Jurassic Park. These 12-inch-long fish are known for their extremely aggressive and hardy natures, and they just love to fight. Like if you packed Russell Crowe and 2-foot-long fish, they are not too bothered by who they fight, either happily taking on creatures far bigger than themselves, including humans who get too close to the holes they live in. For the sarcastic fringehead, attack is definitely the best form of defense. Their signature move is the dramatic display of their oversized, rainbow-colored mouths, which they open wide to intimidate opponents or rivals. This flashy threat display is not just for show. It's a carefully evolved strategy to make them appear larger and more threatening than they actually are. They tend to live in burrows, discarded shells, or crevices in the ocean floor, making them masters of ambush attacks. Marine biologists have observed that their fearlessness is matched by their tenacity, often battling to the point of exhaustion to defend their territory. Despite their small size, they are apex predators within their specific environment, known to consume almost anything smaller than themselves. These fish are rarely seen by divers, but when spotted, their wild displays make them unforgettable. They use that big, freakish mouth for a kind of kiss fight they get into with fellow members of the species, but also for hunting. They just wrap it around whatever they want and try to swallow, and they have even been recorded trying to swallow an entire octopus. This sea monster has no fear and is ready to burst out from pretty much anywhere. Number 9. Fangtooth. More evidence that the deep ocean is not a place you want to find yourself. I mean, aside from the extreme cold, dark, pressure, and lack of air, you also have things like the fangtooth swimming around. With food in such short supply at this depth, like its buddies the anglerfish and the viperfish, this is another massive set of sharp teeth with some fish attached to it. They are not as big as some of their neighbors in the impenetrable darkness of the ocean floor, though they are only about 6 inches long, which means they are good at hiding in the quasi-eternal void of bleakness and horror they choose to call home. Their oversized teeth are so large that they can't even fit inside their mouths, forcing the fish to use specialized sockets in its skull to accommodate them. Despite their intimidating appearance, fangtooths are not aggressive hunters. They rely on ambush tactics to capture prey. They use their incredibly sensitive lateral line systems to detect vibrations in the water, allowing them to locate food in complete darkness. Scientists are fascinated by the fangtooth's ability to survive the crushing pressure of the deep sea, where conditions would destroy most other life forms. Their adaptations make them perfect for life in this hostile environment, but they remain a rare sight even for deep-sea explorers. In fact, most of what we know about fangtooths comes from specimens accidentally caught in deep-sea trawls, as their natural habitat is nearly impossible to reach. 16,000 feet below the surface is also probably where Cthulhu actually does live, just waiting around until the day comes when he needs to rise to the surface and destroy everything in the name of evil. And he might have a couple of fangtooths with him as pets. They are basically Cthulhu's cats. Unlike other deep-sea fish, fangtooths can actually survive in aquariums for a few months. So if you could catch one, you too could own a cat of Cthulhu. But why you would want to, that's another question. Now it's time for today's topic. A chilling video recently surfaced online, claiming to capture a gigantic sea creature emerging from the depths near a quiet coastal town in Cornwall, UK. Filmed during an eerie morning blanketed with thick fog, the footage shows an enormous shadow rising from the ocean, dwarfing the nearby rooftops. The silhouette, resembling something out of folklore, appeared to possess large wings and a serpent-like body. The man behind the recording, a local fisherman named Derek Havers, stated that he noticed unusual water disturbances while walking along the shore. Moments later, the fog thickened, and the monstrous figure began to materialize, towering over the mist-covered town. It didn't look like anything I've ever seen. Not a whale, not a ship, something else entirely, Derek recounted. Speculation quickly ignited online. Some suggested it could be a rogue whale or an optical illusion caused by the fog, while others leaned towards theories of prehistoric creatures, or even a modern-day sea dragon. Experts remain skeptical, citing the lack of corroborating evidence, but many locals now believe something extraordinary lurks in the waters off Cornwall. As debate rages on, one question lingers: was it a natural phenomenon, or does the fog conceal secrets beyond our comprehension? Number 8. Anglerfish. Spare a thought for the anglerfish. While some fish get to hang out in beautiful coral reefs, basking in perfect waters abundant with food and the light of the sun, other fish end up living in the cold, near-lifeless, and pitch-dark depths of the deep sea. And instead of being as brightly colored as a Jamaican carnival, these deep-sea fish are drab and ugly as hell, sensing danger and prey in the environment. So, no wonder the anglerfish has a reputation for being extra cranky. These horrifying beasts can grow to more than 3 feet and have mouths filled with huge, sharp, and semi-translucent teeth. Despite their terrifying appearance, anglerfish are incredibly resourceful predators, perfectly adapted to their harsh environment. The bioluminescent lure on the female's head is powered by symbiotic bacteria that produce light, a necessity in the pitch-black waters they inhabit. This glowing lure is not just for hunting. It also helps the anglerfish attract mates in the vast and empty deep sea. Their ability to consume prey larger than themselves is made possible by their elastic stomachs, which can expand to accommodate massive meals. While they may seem like stuff of nightmares, anglerfish play an important role in deep-sea ecosystems by keeping populations of smaller creatures in check. Similar to the viperfish, the females of the species use a lure of luminescent flesh to attract prey, and the huge mouths with pliable bodies can swallow pretty much up to twice their own size. The males are tiny and live on the body of the females in a parasitic relationship, digging his sharp teeth into her flesh. Eventually, he will lose all of his organs except his testes, feeding off the female's blood and relying on her for absolutely everything. I know some human relationships like this. The female will have up to 6 males on her body at any one time. I guess when you look like this, you can't afford to be too choosy. Number 7. Sheep's head. After all that horror, maybe you're thinking, this ordinary-looking fish, does this deserve a place on the list at all? It's about 10 to 20 inches in length, a pretty normal body, cool stripes like a zebra, nothing too freaky so far. It lives along the western Atlantic, enjoying a pretty normal diet of crustaceans and bivalves and the like. But then, suddenly, the horror is revealed. Remember that whole thing with the new Sonic the Hedgehog and how it was supposed to be kind of cute, but the designers gave it human teeth, and it looked unbelievably terrifying for some reason? Well, that's what the sheepshead fish is all about. Its teeth are not just for show, each tooth is incredibly strong, designed to crush the hard shells of its prey with ease. Divers who encounter the sheepshead fish often describe the unsettling moment when it opens its mouth, revealing a grin eerily similar to that of a human. This bizarre dental feature has made the sheepshead fish a topic of fascination and fear among marine enthusiasts. The teeth grow in rows, resembling a dentist's nightmare, and continue to develop throughout its life, making its smile even more unnerving with age. Despite its creepy appearance, The fish is harmless to humans unless provoked, though that toothy grin is enough to keep most people at a distance. Also known as the human teeth fish, this is another level of just outright horrifying, as it looks like it has swallowed grandpa's dentures. Some kind of mysterious World War II breeding experiment might be responsible for this crossbreeding horror, but in fact, it uses its man teeth to crack open the shells of oysters and so on. That is one seriously freaky smile, though, and I don't think I ever want to have to look at it ever again. Number 6. Vampire squid. If you thought that one vampire creature under the sea was enough, well, you were very wrong. Not content with a vampire fish to haunt our nightmares, nature went right ahead and threw a vampire squid down there as well, just to make things even crazier. To be more precise, it is known as Vampirotuthis infernalis in its scientific classification, which means vampire squid from hell. Just to be sure we all know what kind of creature we're dealing with here. It's actually part squid, part octopus, but is really one of a kind. Let's be thankful for that. Unlike other squids, the vampire squid doesn't use speed to escape predators, relying instead on its bioluminescence to confuse or distract attackers. It lives in some of the deepest and darkest parts of the ocean, where very few creatures can survive, making it a marvel of adaptation. Its gelatinous body allows it to withstand the immense pressure found thousands of feet underwater. The squid's cloak-like webbing, which connects its tentacles, can also flip over its body, creating an intimidating display to ward off predators. Despite its fearsome name, the vampire squid is more of a scavenger than a hunter, playing a critical role in cleaning up the ocean floor. It has red eyes and dark webbing, which looks just like a vampire's cloak, although it is not really vampiric at all, preferring to feed on detritus from dead animals rather than sucking blood, or at least, so the one we spoke to claimed, kind of nervously, while wiping something red forming around its lips with a paper towel. Just ketchup, it reassured us. Another cool feature of this animal is that its body is covered in photophores, which are organs that produce light, making this thing light up like a Christmas tree. And it can eject a cloud of bioluminescent mucus as a defense, which is also pretty cool. Number 5. Northern stargazer. This fish has a cute name. It makes it sound like a mystical fish, one of those who contemplates metaphysics and the meaning of the universe through the patterns of the night sky. In reality, it looks like it was dropped on its head as a baby. There's a lot of ugly fish in the ocean, but this one is brutal. But you might not insult it to its hideous face because it is a supreme hunter, living all over the world, including off the eastern coast of the United States. It goes by the name stargazer, but don't let the poetic name fool you. This fish is anything but serene. Its upward-facing eyes give it an eerie, otherworldly appearance, as if it's always watching. Adding to its arsenal, the stargazer can deliver an electric shock to stun its prey, thanks to specialized organs located behind its eyes. These shocks can reach up to 50 volts, which might not kill a human but would certainly ruin your day if you accidentally stepped on one. They're also known for their ability to gulp down prey whole in a split second, making them one of the most efficient predators in their habitat. Fishermen have to handle these creatures carefully to avoid both the venom and the electric charge, making them as dangerous to catch as they are to encounter. The stargazer's creepy appearance and unique abilities have earned it the nickname, the fish with the face only a mother could love. Just to add some extra fear factor, they're also venomous. But it gets its most chilling aspect from its special ambush tactics, which involve it burying itself partially in the sand, so all you can see is a pair of creepy eyes and a mouth looking out at you before it strikes, just like a monster from a horror film. They wait until something comes a little too close and then leap out to grasp their prey before disappearing back under the sand again. They live in the shallows and can be spotted at Virginia Beach and Myrtle Beach, so next time you're in the neighborhood, watch out for that little face in the sand. Number 4. Goblin shark. The goblin shark is one insane-looking creature. No wonder they named it after the mythical and mischievous medieval creature. The massive nose makes it look like the devil's pet unicorn. Its mouth protrudes, and it is colored a raw pink, which looks like it has had all its skin scraped off in some kind of dungeon torture chamber. If you caught one of these 800 years ago, you would probably have believed you just fished something straight out of the lake of fire where Satan lives. Its unique snout, called a rostrum, is packed with electroreceptors, allowing it to detect the faintest movements of prey in the pitch-black depths. Goblin sharks are typically found at depths of 1,000 to 4,000 feet, making encounters with them incredibly rare and adding to their mysterious allure. Despite their fearsome appearance, they are relatively sluggish compared to other sharks, gliding through the deep sea like eerie phantoms. Their jaws are highly elastic, capable of extending nearly 3 inches forward to grab unsuspecting prey, which often includes squid, crustaceans, and small fish. Researchers have found that their raw pink coloration comes from their translucent skin, which exposes blood vessels beneath, making them look like creatures from a nightmare. These sharks are often called living fossils because their lineage dates back over 125 million years, giving scientists a glimpse into the ancient oceans. Unlike some of the others on our list, goblin sharks are huge, maxing out at around 20 feet in length, but they are so rare, some scientists believe they could grow even bigger, we just haven't seen them all yet. They don't swim very well compared to other sharks, preferring to just hang out in the darkness, using their noses to sense the electrical fields of passing fish before striking. And what a strike! The whole jaw comes out of its mouth, chomping the prey in half, just like in Ridley Scott's Alien film. You were worried about the great white? Add this one to your list, it's maybe even more terrifying. Number 3. Tongue-eating louse. The tongue-eating louse. Let's just take a moment to consider the name of this species. The tongue-eating louse, a louse that eats your tongue. Truly horrifying. But it's not a science fiction monster. It's for real, and it lives along the western coast of California, down as far as the coast of Ecuador, while also showing up in the Atlantic Ocean too. This parasite grows to about 1 inch in length when female, while the males are smaller. It enters a fish's body through the gills and uses its front claws to cut off the blood vessels of the fish's tongue. What makes this parasite even more bizarre is its apparent symbiotic relationship with the host fish, as it doesn't harm the fish further after replacing its tongue. Scientists believe that the fish can still eat and function normally, albeit in the most unsettling way imaginable. The louse primarily targets snapper species, though it has been found in other types of fish as well. Divers and fishermen have occasionally caught infected fish, giving people a rare and horrifying glimpse of this creepy creature in action. The parasite is one of the only known cases of a creature physically replacing an organ in another living being. Its survival strategy, while nightmarish, is a fascinating example of evolution's ability to adapt to extreme niches. Due to lack of blood, eventually, the tongue falls off, and the parasite takes its place, now functioning as the fish's new tongue after attaching itself to the remaining tongue stub. The fish doesn't seem to be too bothered by this, and the two carry on pretty much as normal, other than having a tongue with eyes and legs and all that kind of stuff. Once the fish dies, the parasite then heads back out into the sea, looking for another tongue to eat, no doubt. Number 2. Barrel eye. Down into the deep once more, and this time we're meeting something called the barrel eye. This fish has a seriously weird appearance. First up is its head, which is dome-shaped and transparent. That's right, it can look through its own head. The dome contains a clear fluid and 2 super strange eyes, which are shaped like barrels. These eyes point upwards so it can look right through the top of its head and see any prey that might be stupid enough to be swimming above this crazy-looking fish. The transparency of its head also helps it stay hidden from predators, as the unique structure reduces its visibility in the dim light of the deep sea. Scientists believe its upward-facing eyes are an adaptation for spotting the faint silhouettes of prey in the murky water. The barrel eye's eyes are incredibly sensitive to light, allowing it to detect even the smallest glimmers from bioluminescent creatures. It's often seen near jellyfish, as it is thought to feed on smaller creatures that gather around them. The fish's odd anatomy might seem like a disadvantage, but it's perfectly suited for the dark and pressurized depths of the ocean. Its unique abilities make it one of the most specialized hunters in its environment, thriving where few other creatures can survive. They can rotate the eyes forwards too, which is useful for things like seeing where you are actually going. They live pretty far down, which explains why they need to look up a lot, hanging out as deep as 3,000 feet below the surface. And they are widespread too, living in the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans. They only grow about 6 inches long, though, but nevertheless, that's still a seriously creepy fish watching you from below with its see-through head. Number 1. Frilled shark. The frilled shark sounds pretty cute, actually, like a potato chip or an 18th century dandy. But in fact, it is not cute at all. It's a seriously freaky shark. Sharks are scary enough as it is and are certainly best left to get on with their shark business in peace, lest they decide to tear you to shreds. These particular sharks are some of the most ancient, dating back to the Jurassic era. What makes the frilled shark even more fascinating is its ability to survive in the deep ocean, thriving at depths of up to 5,000 feet where sunlight can't reach. Its eel-like body allows it to move gracefully through these depths, almost like a ghostly predator. The frilled edges along its gills, from which it gets its name, give it an almost dragon-like appearance, adding to its eerie mystique. These adaptations have helped the frilled shark stay virtually unchanged for millions of years, earning it the nickname living fossil. Deep-sea explorers who encounter this shark often describe it as something straight out of a nightmare, with its intense, unblinking eyes. Despite its fearsome appearance, the frilled shark is rarely seen and poses little to no threat to humans due to its deep-sea habitat. That's right, these things were swimming in the oceans an incredibly long time ago, as far back as a time when Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum were still box office superstars. Anyway, the frilled shark has a pretty intense method of hunting. It lies silently in the water, waiting for its prey, before coiling up its body and lashing out like a snake to strike its victim. But that's just the beginning. Once they have stunned or killed their victim, 300 fangs, all facing backwards into the shark's mouth, guide the food down into its stomach. Once you're in, there's really no way of getting back out again. Scientists think that the coiled-up, gray-bodied shark could be mistaken for prey by some squid, and that the teeth being the way that they are is a form of camouflage, making this one sneaky little sea monster. And by little, I mean 7 feet of prehistoric murderousness. Let's stop here. I don't think I can handle any more terrifying sea creatures. Which of these crazy critters was your favorite? And here's a fun thought. Which animal do you think would be the most terrifying with a set of human teeth? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the other cool videos showing up on the screen right now. See you next time.